Hello and welcome to the Paper Boys podcast. I'm JJ Smith.
And I'm Zack Nally.
We're reporters with the Carteret County News-Times. We're joined via telephone, Andrew Gurley, Croatan girls basketball coach. Thanks for being with us, Coach.
Yes, guys. Thanks for having me.
So the Cougars have got, I don't want to say everybody back, but man, the vast majority of the team is back after a lot of young players played last year, right?
Yeah, we got a lot of our core group back from last year. We graduated 4 seniors, so obviously we'll miss them, but we're excited about what we got. I think that's kind of the key word for this team is excitement. We got our group of juniors now that are back. That's been with us since their freshman and sophomore year, and obviously some key pieces that we feel like will really help us as well, kind of joining the group as well. So, like I said, looking forward to a great season.
Neely McMahon, Landry Clifton, Hannah Buchanan, by the time they're done, it's going to feel like we've covered them for 15 years because they have all started as freshmen and been I mean, they're like you said, I think you said in the preview we ran in the paper, they're only juniors. They've been around for a while, right?
It's hard to believe. You know, I definitely have experienced this with other teams we play. I think of West Carteret and a couple of their girls, and man, I feel like they've been there forever. But yeah, I can see how a lot of people would think that with these girls because it does feel like that. But hard to believe they're only juniors. So trying to make the most of it, you know, and definitely want to enjoy these next 2 years we've got with them.
Neely leads the team with 10 points a game. Landry had about 7. Hannah was 6. They all three led the team in assists. All three led the team in steals. I would imagine compared to the first 2 years where they're taking their bumps and bruises and learning as they go, that this year a little bit more of hitting the ground running.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I expect more of the same from an offensive standpoint with those three. But I've seen a huge improvement on that side of the ball with them. Something that kind of goes unnoticed from a stat sheet is how good of a defender all three of them are. You know, I would say that those are our 3 best defenders. And you guys know as well as I do that defense has a lot of times been our identity, what we kind of hang our hat on. So I'm more excited about that as well. Not what they're going to do on the offensive side, but how much they're going to improve from the defensive side also.
Well, these girls have definitely already shown improvement in their 2 years. When they first started at freshman, there was 11 and 14, and sophomore year they go 13 and 11. And the program in general has gone up. You go back to 21-22 where the team went 4 and 14, and then 11 wins, now 13 wins. Do you feel like they're going to continue to keep that trend going this year?
Yeah, that's definitely the plan. I mean, obviously, you know, the numbers would lead to that. And I think a lot of times, you know, this is my 15th year as head girls coach, so I've seen this pretty often. It runs in cycles, very cyclical a lot of times. And yeah, we're going through a cycle, and you know, hopefully on the good side of it. But yeah, looking at kind of the improvement and the progress we've made over the last few years, I think we're due for a really good year. And obviously, we got to put the time in and put the work in. But the girls are excited, and they've been, you know, we've had a great first 3.5 weeks so far. So looking forward to game 1, and you know, we just got to take it 1 week at a time.
Yeah, you opened the season on Thursday against Southside at home, and you talked about the preparation the last few weeks, and then you brought up too the number of years you've been a coach. You are the dean of high school basketball coaches in this county, the longest tenured coach with that program. And add to that, you know, what an unusual thing to go from being the head football coach to a head girls basketball coach. And what's that been like the last few weeks for you as you finish out football season and you're entering a totally different sport with, you know, the opposite gender kids? It's very different.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's different, but not so much for me because it's been something that I've been doing for a number of years now. You know, obviously this is year 15 as head girls coach. Just finished year 7 as head football coach. But overall, I've been coaching 18 years altogether. So I've been doing both for 18 total years. So it is different to somebody that isn't used to it. It would seem like pretty difficult to balance everything and manage it. But, you know, it's just one of those things. I've been very blessed to have the staffs that I have in football and basketball. So they help me out a ton. Obviously, this time right now in November is always the busiest time with that overlap between football and basketball. But, you know, it is different. 2 different genders, 2 different sports. But going from the end of one season into a new one, it's fresh, it's new, it's exciting. Obviously, football just ended, but that was exciting the last few weeks because we were gearing up for playoffs. Basketball, it's exciting because it's new. It's a new season, new team, high expectations. So, at the end of a week, yeah, you're tired. You wonder why you're so tired and why you got bags under your eyes. But really, when you go from one sport to the next, I just try to give my all for the team and the kids and everybody there, and don't know any better, don't know any different. So this season is definitely one that I'm always going to give my all. And I told the football team this Friday night, whenever it stops being fun, that's when it's time to hang it up. But I tell you, every day going to practice, whether it's the second practice of that day or whatever, I'm just as pumped as it is, the first day of the season. So it's still fresh and new and exciting for me. So that's a good thing.
Well, speaking of new, JJ talked about the returners that are coming back from last year, the trio. But you've also got a couple of new kids on the roster, a couple of freshmen coming from Broad Creek, a couple of impressive ones that JJ mentioned in his preview, Leah Johnson, Layla Sheeran. You talk about those girls for a minute? Absolutely,
yeah. Speaking of players that you feel like have been here a while, I feel like it's taken forever for them to get from Broad Creek to here because, just Leah's older sister, Anna, has been in the program now. This is her third year. Anna's a junior with us. So but we've known Layla and her family for a long time. So been able to keep up with them during their years at Broad Creek. I think I went to a handful of their games last year. So having them, they were with us a lot this summer. So being able to kind of implement them and getting them involved with the other girls was really good. And this season with them, they've hit the ground running. Our older girls have taken them under their wing. It's been great. They definitely have a lot of promise. They're girls that play year round. Basketball is their primary sport. I know Layla plays lacrosse, but you can just tell that they put the time in the off season in basketball. And they're going to make us better, but our older girls are going to make them better. So it's just interesting to see the dynamic with all of them on the court at the same time. It's been really cool to be a part of, even though our season's still young. I'm excited to see them all get out there together, and our team chemistry has been so good. Anytime you add younger girls with older girls and upperclassmen, there's always kind of a fear, I guess. How are they going to gel? How are they going to mesh together? But from what I've seen so far, it's been really good. It's definitely been so far so good.
Another returner coming back, Sunny Johnson, going to be a post player for you after a freshman year where she had 3.3 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 1.2 steals per game. I'm sure it's another piece in the puzzle for you.
Yeah, with Sunny, it was interesting because our goal last year was to keep Sunny on JV, fifth quarter her some when we could, but really about I think 6 or 7 games in, we had some injuries, and so we had to bring Sunny up, and she never went back. She's such a great athlete and a great competitor. And even as a sophomore, her leadership skills are beyond her years. And so last year, it was just kind of a small sample size with it just being 1 year, but you really got to see a good insight of what you were going to get from Sunny, not just from what she could do on the court, but off the court. Like I said, she is a tremendous leader for being so young, not scared to speak up, going to hold herself accountable. But just great vocal skills, and that's hard to get in the girls' game, is to get them to communicate and to talk. And with Sunny, it's just contagious how good of a communicator she is. So I think this year, again, I forget she's a sophomore a lot of times, but she's jumping in, kind of leaving, picking up where she left off last year. But she's going to be a big piece to the puzzle for us too. Rebounding is going to be a big strength to hers, but she's improved on the offensive side as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing her numbers just really really jump off the page from last year.
And you'll need all the rebounding help you can get, Coach. You lose two of your top 4 rebounders in Sophia Mendelia, had 7 a game, Sadie Johnson 4 a game, and then also you had Kaylin Ames who had 3. So what are we looking at? 14 rebounds there.
Yeah, that's big. I mean, that's going to be huge. And I told you guys this before, kind of looking at the first, not quite a full month together yet, but close to it. That's kind of been our biggest thing that we've noticed that we've got to work on is rebounding. A lot of times you go into a season, you play 3 or 4 games, and then you're like, oh, we got to rebound better. Well, that was something that jumped off at the page at us after going through our scrimmages that we had. And we knew, we the numbers you just told me there, we knew going in that we graduated the bulk of our rebounding. So, our girls got to take care of that. And one of the things we mentioned to them, like rebounding, a little bit different than the other stats that you get in basketball. Scoring a lot of times it's a skill. Assists, passing, that's a skill. Steals, forcing turnovers, that is a skill. Rebounding so much, it's a little bit more heart, it's a little bit more will. And a lot of those girls, height is going to help, but being able to rebound and box out, that's going to be something they're going to want to do. And I think when we understand how important it is, I told them this a couple of weeks ago. One of my favorite sayings is, offense wins games, defense wins championships, something like that. But I heard a coach change this, and it's so true. Offense will sell tickets. Defense wins games, but rebounding wins championships. Rebounding is very important, especially in the girls' game. You guys know this more than anybody because you see so much of it. Like, if you can't rebound, you're going to be able to win just on talent alone a lot of times in the girls' game. But if you want to go far and make a deep run in the playoffs, you've got to rebound. And there's been tons and tons of studies across all levels, high school, college, and professional, how important rebounding is. So that's been something that we've really tried to tie in our practice schedule the first few weeks. So because we know how important it's going to be. So we've got to be able to rebound to win games.
Croatan's got their sights set on a county rival for the dethroning the champs. You got the West Carteret Patriots, who are the 3-time defending champions of the league. If you're going to win it, you got to beat them, and it might come down to you two in those 2 games this year.
Yeah, and I think our conference, like it's been the last couple of years, it could be a toss-up between a few teams, but absolutely. I mean, they're the defending champions. They got a lot of players back. They're well coached. Obviously that's a long ways away. We want to focus on one game at a time. But, that's the obvious. I think, obviously, when we get there after Christmas break, that's going to be the main focal point for us. But it's hard to not look ahead to a county rival, defending conference champs. But we've got to keep our focus on the task at hand. So, but, they're the champions until somebody beats them. That's going to be the goal this year, as with everybody. I don't think I'm being overconfident by stating that. They're a good team. They're well coached. And when we get to that point of our season, when it's come time to play them, we're going to do everything we can to give it our best shot.
Cougars start the season Thursday night at home versus Southside. Good luck to you this year, Coach. We'll be out there covering you.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.